day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. So I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. So I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. You gotta listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Believe in yourself, but that's a way to start. So I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where you can learn to work and play and get along with each other. So I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. Take it, Jake. Every day when you're walking down the street, everybody that you meet has an original point of view. So I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. So I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. You gotta listen to your heart, listen to the beat, listen to the rhythm of the street. Open up your eyes, open up your ears, get together and make things better by working together. It's a simple message and it comes from the heart. Believe in yourself, well that's a place to start. And I say, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. And I said, hey, what a wonderful kind of day where we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. Let's just repeat wonderful kind of day. And I said, hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Oh, what a wonderful kind of day. Oh, what a wonderful kind of day. Oh, just the drums and voices. Hey, what a wonderful kind of day. Oh, what a wonderful kind of day. Oh, what a wonderful kind of day. And I say, wonderful kind of day. Oh, we can learn to work and play and get along with each other. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day. What a wonderful kind of day.
Yes, Reverend Abigail was correct. We have something orchestrated. I'll tell you, there is a producer. There's a producer going on, and one of the theme for not the theme for the month. I'll talk about that in a second. But the talk title was to handle the Seattle freeze. How many of you have heard of the Seattle freeze? Maybe we'll smile, but we're certainly not going to interact. I'm not sure what that's about. But what if we just started saying hi to people? What if someone first service put a comment on one of the links that when they were watching, and they said, we could be the anti-freeze. And everybody needs antifreeze in the winter. So maybe we just start saying hi and smiling and reaching out. And we don't have to ask them to lunch. You know, we just see them. I'll just give you one more story because it just came up to my mind. Kirsten Anderson, I always got it wrong. Kirsten Anderson was a wonderful friend who was part of our community for quite some time. And she went back to graduate school to become a family counselor. And she was given the assignment to work with homeless youth for a while. And she heard so many times when she was asking the youth, how can I help you? What would it take? What needs do you need? And so many times she's heard, I wish people would just look at me. I'm not invisible. And how many of you felt that sometimes? You know, I wish that someone would look at me. Maybe we could be the beginning of warmth. Warmth. Just a thought. It's not what I have to say today, but just throw that out there. Because I'm asked so many months in advance to give talk titles. It's like, I don't know. Who knows what will be going on when I really have to talk. But I do want to stay with the theme for us to be the change we want to see in the world. Because I believe that those people who are here, most of you that are here, are starting to respond to the evolution of your soul, and you are getting that we're all connected. You're starting to feel that we're connected, and that what hurts one group of people hurts all of us. Your heart hurts at times. You're also getting to know that not only are we connected to people, we're connected to the planet and to all creation. And what affects any species, it really does affect us eventually. We've got to get at that, not just intellectually, but you're starting to feel it. And so if you're listening to the radio as you drive, sometimes it's painful to hear what's going on. How many of you have experienced that pain? And for people that are experiencing that, there can be a longing for a world that works for everyone, and to have it go beyond cliche. For instance, war doesn't work for anybody except arms brokers. Let's just say it out loud. War doesn't work. War hasn't worked. And yet, what's a spiritual person to do? What's a spiritual person to do? I want to talk about that. But first, I want to give the basis of why I will be saying what I'm going to say. And for some of you, will be a reminder, because some of you have worked with this particular pattern that I'm going to be talking about. Some of you are familiar with it, and for some of you, this will be brand new. But what I want to talk about, so I'm going to talk about it. I should just say I don't want to. I'm going to. I'm going to talk about our spiritual evolution as a spiritual being having a human experience. And one of the ways to map it out, and there's lots of ways to map it out, but one way to map it out that I am reminded really works for me is called kingdoms of consciousness. Kingdoms of consciousness. That sounds so grand, doesn't it? And in a way, it kind of is. It's a realm. It's a realm of consciousness. A kingdom was a realm of power. And a realm is, for us, within us, is the worldview or set of beliefs that we live in that shapes the way we see the world and how we interact with it. We are influenced by what we already believe, what we've already come to prove to ourselves. We've already proven this to ourselves, and so it shapes us. And it shapes how we view the news and how we respond to it and how we respond to everyone else. So, in my experience, we all start, and if we could look at this actually in just the history of humankind, But in our experience, a lot of us start out, now please don't take this too wrong because we're going to get through this. We start out as victims. Things happen to me. It's not my fault, they happen to me. If it's happening to me. There's always an outside power, there's always something that's going on that's not my fault. Life is out of control. And in this area, it's just the way it is. And we can't, we can always have our reasons. We have our reasons. It was the way we were brought up, or it was our ancestry, or our karma, or that thing we did 900 lifetimes ago, and we haven't worked it out yet. And it's just the way it is. Now, here's the deal. I do believe that we've been around this block a couple of times. I do believe that we are eternal souls. I'm not sure that it's linear. I believe sometimes it's like this, and we can tap into any memory. In fact, I was just reading this idea about psychic phenomena from Ernest Holmes, where he said, if one mind, we can tap into any mind. We can have the experience of each other because there's one mind. We can have the experience of a pharaoh or a serf. We can do that. He wasn't necessarily convinced that it was all in a linear line. But as long as we say that what's happening in the here and now is because of something that happened in the past, whether it's the recent past or the distant past, it still makes us a victim. We're powerless over that thing. You're all like, oh dear. I'll cheer you up. Okay, we'll move forward, honest. And that's kind of the point. Whenever we feel we are without power, we come from a victim consciousness. And I do it regularly. How many of you do it regularly? But, ladies and gentlemen, you are drawn to a place like this to have an awakening. And the awakening is that you are part of this dance. There's a dance floor and you're dancing. That you can participate and shift the dance by the actions and the reactions that you have, which is the beginning and the middle and the end of personal growth workshops. How many of you in the 80s or 90s became part of a personal growth movement? 70s. Oh, 70s. Whoa. No, I was still... No, I was having way too much fun to be do personal growth in the 70s. And anyway, it wasn't until I got serious that I did personal growth. So remember that? If it is to be, it's up to me. And don't, you're going to have your intention, you're going to go for it, you're going to make it happen. And where's your intention if you're not making it happen? How many of you remember being bullied in personal growth workshops for not making it happen immediately? And then there's metaphysics. Some of us got into metaphysics. Some of us are just getting into metaphysics, which is we realize it wasn't just our actions and our reactions, but also our thoughts. Oh my goodness, our thoughts. The thoughts we think can shift things. Oh, how fun is that? And we learn to use the law of cause and effect, specifically the law of attraction. And so a wonderful book called The Secret sold millions and millions and millions of copies. Now, if it always worked, there would be millions and millions and millions more millionaires than there are. If it always worked, if that law of attraction always worked, we'd always have the perfect body, have the perfect mate in the perfect house, and the perfect weather. We wouldn't be in Seattle. We would vision ourselves someplace else. Someplace dry that also happened to have water, which is getting to be a thing. So what happened is that in this awakening, we gave up being helpless. And we started to participate in some way, shape, or form, either through our actions or through our thinking. And it worked powerfully. It was wonderful. Life is no longer happening to me, it's happening by me. Ta-da, ta-da, Ta-da! And it worked up to a point. Up to a point, it worked. But luckily, the universe is in a conspiracy for our benefit. The universe is in a conspiracy for our benefit, and making us a self-centered control freak does not benefit our soul. If it's all about me and I'm just going to vision this and vision that, and I'm just going to see it and I'm going to see it and I'm just going to see it and I'm going to make it happen, it does not grow our soul. So eventually something will happen that is so big it calls to our attention that we really probably aren't as powerful as we thought. And then we have our second awakening. And we awaken to ourselves to realize that we can only do so much. And something else has to do the rest. To really have something meaningful happen, something else has to do the rest. And so we humble ourselves and learn to listen to wisdom and stop making things happen and start letting them happen. Letting. Just look what happens when you make something happen and when you let something happen. There's an ease in letting. It doesn't mean that you don't have an intention, but you're just not going to make it happen. For me, I got to have some serious illness issues. I got to have some serious illness issues that I could not affirm away. And I finally just had to let God's life be my life. We also, as a professional thing, the Center for Spiritual Living had this wonderful bank that will remain nameless, and they decided to foreclose on us after our 10-year balloon payment was coming to an end. Even though we had $1.5 million in the bank, and we'd always made all of our payments, but they didn't want to be in the church business anymore. That was beyond me. I couldn't figure it out. And I prayed and I got money, and I prayed and I got money, and I prayed and I got money, and it was never enough to pay off the $4 million I had to pay. It was really interesting. And yet, you know what? God had a better idea. So much better for what was coming about, which is called a pandemic that was going to break out in 2020. My goodness, God had a good idea. Wow. If we have been doing a great job in making things happen, letting them happen is going to drive the ego crazy. How many of you can kind of feel it? How many of you, your ego is going like, maybe we should, don't you have to go to the bathroom or something? I think there's something in your car. I think we can come back later. Let's get through this part. Because the ego likes to be in charge. It gets an endorphin rush. Hormones go off when you accomplish something. It's so fun. I checked it off. Yay for me. And to surrender control, how many of you start to get I just said it and I got butterflies. How many of you get butterflies when I say surrender control? Just a few of you? I get it, like, and yet, life goes better with God. Surrendering control is not a bad thing. To surrender control allows good to happen through us. So it's no longer to us, it's no longer by us, it's now through us. This is what Jesus was talking about when he said, "It is not I, but the Father within that doeth the work." So did I hold myself as healthy? Yes. Did I go ahead and schedule a surgery? Yes. I did what I was inclined to do. One time I didn't need the surgery. The other time I was out and shopping the next day in a surgery that was supposed to take weeks for recovery. I didn't make that happen. You can't make that happen. I think we really hamper our spiritual evolution by thinking we can make anything happen. And so, Sandra is our poster child for the day, because Sandra allowed the perfect job to find her. And I think, if you don't mind me saying, that what you said is, I finally am giving up control. Today she said, I'm finally giving up control because the job is better than she would have figured out. So we allow things to keep happening, and we're letting, and then we have a third awakening. And the third awakening is that we are one with this gentle, glorious dance that's going on, that we're not just on the dance floor, the whole dance floor is alive, the whole planet is alive. We are interconnected. What happens here will affect what happens here, and what goes on in me will affect what's going on over there. We just can't believe anymore in separation. We give up separation altogether, and then we have gone into, it's happening as me. As me. This is happening as me. Not through me anymore, which is nice, but it's as me. I show up as this. This is what Jesus could say when he said, the Father and I are one. And we find ourselves being lived and spoke and encouraged, and we find ourselves showing up at the right time, doing the right thing. I'm not sure it'll ever happen again, but I heard myself this morning at the first service giving this beautiful affirmation, and part of me was saying, oh goodness, that's really good. Where did this come from? And it's as me. I was doing this, what? That's really, that was brilliant, and that wasn't me. Yeah, and you'll find yourself doing that. How do you know? How do you know the questions to ask? How do you know the things to look for? Because God as you is showing up. God as you is showing up as the parent or the child. God as you is showing up as the friend, the employer, the employee, the encourager. A way that I have tackled this for myself and working with it is a short, powerful prayer by Joel Goldsmith. I use it all the time. I've said it before, I'll keep saying it because it's so powerful, it's so short, it's so easy, it's not long. It's not like, I gotta read that page. Yeah, that was that page that had that great meditation in it. This is so simple. I'm going to take away any excuse to not have a powerful prayer in your artillery. Artillery, maybe I should get rid of that word if I want to get rid of war. Anyway, in your toolkit, and that is God as me is. And then fill in the blank. Because God as me is recognition and unification, and then is, what are you going to be? What is showing up for as you, in you, through you? And I tried this out because I lost my confidence doing something. I lost my confidence riding a horse. Horses, I knew how to sit on them, I didn't know how to ride them. And so then I get a horse that doesn't want me to just sit on him. He actually thinks I'm supposed to know how to ride, and I'm giving him all sorts of mixed signals, and I know that he could hear me coming through the barn and going, oh no, it's not her again. And he'd get tense, and I'd get tense, and we'd both be tense, and tense is not a good thing. And I lost my confidence. I had to make myself get on. My heart was beating. It was awful. And so I started saying God as me is confident until I became confident not only in writing but doing other things. And that's why I'm willing to sing off key. I don't care. If a song comes to me, you're going to hear it. Because I'm confident that you love me enough to come and show up the next week anyway. Jeez. Because I'm not singing to impress. Lucky me. And then I went from confident to coordinated because I realized there was a lot going on and I wasn't coordinated, which was sort of, now that I'm confident, get yourself coordinated. Give them the same signals. Don't give one signal with your reins and one signal with your legs. It's like, and it's all, there's so much going on, and I had to coordinate that whole thing. And then I had to say, God as me is elegant. So, but this is the way you do it. It's so simple. God as me is. God as me is. God as me is. Which brings me to how to be a force for good in the world. Because when we hear about things, when we are suffering over something, in the first kingdom, we go to, what can I do? I'm powerless. Life sucks. It's not good. I can do nothing. How many of you, I go into Kingdom 1 so much when I'm listening to the radio. I go into Kingdom 1 when I see the news. Well, there's nothing I can do. But luckily, I know I'm in Kingdom 1. And I know what to do about being in Kingdom 1, which is to say, I can do something. So in Kingdom 2, we're going to do what we can do. We're going to have our voices heard. We're going to march if we need to march, protest if we need to protest, write our elected officials if that's what we need to do. We'll do something. I bet you applied for jobs, didn't you, Sandra? Yeah. And honestly, people in power will start to pay attention if more people say something. If we all just say, there's nothing I can do, then guess what? They get to do everything. Until we start speaking up. Whatever you want to speak up about. That's Kingdom 2. And at least there's movement. But it's not all up to what you do. It's also what can be done through you. And so we move into Kingdom 3, which is use me. The prayer of St. Francis, Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Lord, make me an instrument of thy love. Lord, make me an instrument of understanding and cooperation. Now, that's very tricky because that means that you'll also have to show up as that at family gatherings. You don't just get to throw it out there. See, when you're making stuff happen, you just get to throw it out there, see what happens. But when you're the instrument, guess what? You show up as the instrument. Everywhere you go. How many of you remember this song by Ricky Byers? Use me. Use me, oh my God, I stand for you. And here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me. Do they have the reverb on? I sound so good. That was good. That was good. And then in the fourth kingdom, we do say something like, God as me. God as me shows up as peace. Not just through me, not just use me, but I'm it. Tag, I'm it. Too many people aren't saying, tag, I'm it. They're not saying, you're it, you're it, you're it. No, how about us being it? How about us being the ones that thaw Seattle? How about us being the ones that take a stand for peace, no matter who we're talking to? How about us taking a stand for being loved, and being loved no matter what anyone's going through or what they just said to you? Whew. That's pretty amazing. See, the only true peace will be the peace that will be found within the human heart and expressed. Otherwise, we are just suppressing violence. Too many people want to just suppress violence. That was happening in the Middle East for a long time, by the way. Just suppressed violence. Look how that worked. How many of you have suppressed conversations with people you love? Then how's that work? Suppression eventually erupts. But true peace, that erupts too. A peace that can be felt around the world, because I don't believe in trickle down, never have, economically or politically. I believe in trickle up. Enough people shift and change, and they will demand shift and change. But from a peaceful place. God as me is the peace and the power and the presence to illuminate the hearts and minds of everyone around me and everyone who is willing to go to this frequency so that we can all see that good is the only reality, and we're all going to wake up to it sometime in our own way at our own time. So I know that we can be this. I also know that God as us is sufficient for all of the holiday projects that we'll be asked to participate in. We're sufficient. There's going to be so many ways to participate, and you will find a way that would work for you and fill your heart. I also know that we can be the love that reminds everyone that no matter who shows up here, it's a safe place to be. You know, it's a safe place to be, and it's a safe place to be. I started this whole talk thinking of a man named who's renamed himself Truth Be Told. I knew it's Truth Be. Truth Be what? Anyway, Truth Be Told. And he came here after going to many, many centers and found that we were the warmest place he had went. There was a sense of warmth and inclusion. It means we're a sanctuary. We're a safe place. We're a safe place. And if we're a safe place, we have to be a safe place for no matter where we are on our journey that day. It's safe for me to say, you know what? I go to Kingdom One. It's safe for me to say, you know, I'm really working at this. It's safe for me to, I give up. I'm just going to let God do it. And it's safe for me to say, you know what? I'm not even going to give up. I'm just going to be what I know God is today. I'm going to let that form all of my actions. It's safe to wander around because we're all learning and we're all walking each other home, as Mr. Ram Dass would say. We're all just walking each other home, and it's a safe walk because we're together. And so it is.